To make a ray topology, we will need to create a separate mesh on top of this object. I will create Shift-A mesh plane, a normal plane. I will go to Edit mode, select all vertices with the A key, then press M key and select at center. That is, I combine them in the center. They are glued into one vertex. To select this vertex, be sure to switch to vertex selection or the 1 key on the keyboard. Now we can take this vertex, switch to side view, numpad 3, Alt-Z, turn on transparency, and move this vertex, for example, here. With the G key, I move. Be careful to move the camera together with Shift. Shift and the middle mouse button, because if you rotate the camera and start moving the verticals, they will move relative to the x-axis, and then it will be difficult to make a mirror. I select a vertex, then I press the E key, which is extrude, and I extrude another vertex that's attached to it. Let's first extrude this one here. Then let's extrude a little bit further here. E is here, E is here, and along the contour we put these vertices. And here, like this, that is, this vertex will be right in the corner between the blade and the handle. Again, side view, Alt-Z to see better. Now copy this vertex, Shift-D, it will be copied without binding to it, and try to make these vertices approximately parallel so that they are opposite each other. So it will be easier for us to make a mesh later. Highlighting this vertex, E extrude here, then here, here. Not necessarily in a straight line parallel, but to have the same number of them and they repeat the silhouette. That is, if there is a small bend here in this place, then do not put the top higher, because there will be a distance. So we put so that not only the vertical adjoint to the surface, but also the edges themselves. E here, E, E, like this. And this top we also have in the corner between the blade and the handle. Hold down the D key, right mouse button, I wipe the annotations. Let's go over the top, then we'll go back to the handle. Take this top, E, extrude, see how we do. If we do like this, we'll have a dip here. So I'll do a little bit in front of the edge, and we'll make a grid like this. And here, so that there is a kind of bevel, like this. Continue up, E. You cannot completely to the end, but make some more divisions in the middle. E here. Then we also make a bevel here. Here, like this. Extrude here and here. First we set the outline, and then we will add polygons. Also here, here and on the mountain. On the mountain we can also make not a straight corner, but a little bit like this, that is, such a bevel, so that later we have a smooth rounding. Extrude approximately to the middle. Look, somewhere in the middle of this circle. Extrude here. Here we also make such a bevel, like this. And here we'll try to make this vertex connect to this vertex to this vertex, and this vertex to this vertex. So I'll just do this here and this here. Yes, let's move on. Put it out here, 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 here. Look, we've got the sharpening going on here, like this. So we put the tip right next to it, like this, and extrude further toward the blade. Yes, let's meet from the bottom and try to make our tops coincide with these tops. Maybe it will not be perfect, but we try to make it as even as possible. Also, I may not be possible to do that, because there is such an arc from the bottom, so I put it here and then here. I lead the top along the contour and look when the line begins. The edge itself lags begin the surface and then I stop. If I lead and see that there is a large gap, then I go back to the place where it approximately fits. Yes, well, you'll have to make more dots here. But we try not to do much, we are doing low poly. The most important thing is, in this case, is the silhouette. That is, those parts that do not affect the silhouette can be skipped. That is, we set the tops so that we see the details that affect the silhouette. Yeah, it's got a sharp edge, so I'm gonna leave the sharp edge here. Look, here is our sharpening. So I move the top here, like this. Then we have another movement. If we look at the top, we have a little rounding inwards, like this inwards. Therefore, we will have to make another division into two halves in the center. By the way, to draw on the surface, we can turn on annotations and switch the view to surface, and then we can draw directly on the surface. So here we will also make a division, especially since we have here the supporting peaks that will point to these notches. So we will have to do them anyway. Extrude here, extrude here. Then we see this peak, this peak, this peak, this peak here. This vertex is about here, and here we can connect some points. Let's draw from this one. And here also we can connect some points like this, and here somehow it will go like this. We made a vertex here, right? So we have a line that goes like this. To remove the vertex in the middle, we can select it, and by pressing Ctrl X, the vertex disappears and the line remains. And maybe there will be one more division here. We will connect it somehow later. So back here, extrude, extrude, extrude. Here we have a more or less flat line, so I'm connecting it a straight line like this, and then like this. Also, if you want, you can make a smoother transition. Let's make it equal for now, because we are still learning and we do not need to complicate the task. Here we also connect here, then here. And the last vertex we could leave off. I can delete it with X verticals. Take this last vertex and with Shift take this one and press F. And they are joined together. There you go. Yes, we have drawn outline of the upper part. Now we need to go down. Here, I extrude here, then here, then here, then here, or maybe even a little further. We need to think about the best way, maybe like this, then this way, to make such a smooth transition. Here you can make another smooth transition, but do not go into details too much. It is better to do less because it is low poly. Low poly does not mean the number of verticals, because they can be 10,000 verticals, but it will also be low poly. I have already explained that this is only what affected the silhouette. That is, if it is impossible to do without points that do not affect the silhouette, then they must be done anyway. And now let's go through the other side in parallel. Let's start here. We try to simply repeat the contour, but so that there are few points as possible. And here we will try to connect these verticals. You can draw them in advance and then just build on them already, like this. And here let's also make a kind of smooth transition. This is where I extrude into the center and connect the extreme verticals of F. But look, we have two verticals here, so that a smooth transition is formed. So here we will need to make a smooth transition as well. How to make the second vertex? We can press Ctrl R and center split here and drag this vertex then here. There we go, and we've got a connection here between this vertex and this vertex. We have finished the contour. Next we will move on to connecting and creating polygons, and creating a volume in the shape of our axe. We will make only one half and mirror the second half using the mirror modifier. If you did everything correctly and rearranged the verticals only in the side view, then they should all be on the same line. How to check this? First, select all vertices with the A key and see if they are on the same line. You can also open the side menu and look at the value of the x-axis in the item tab. If some vertex is, well, let's take this one for example, if it's somewhere off center that is not on the same line with the other verticals, then look at the x value, it changes. We shifted only one vertex and it changes. That is, let this vertex be somewhere like this. If we select all verticals, we will see that there is a shift along the x-axis. That is, it calculates the arithmetic mean between all the vertices and finds the center. So if you have all vertices selected and the value of x is 0, then you can be sure that you are doing well. But if you still have some vertex that has moved and you do not know which one, or maybe several, let's try to do this. Here are some points, this one and this one. Select all vertices with the AK, press Scale, X, 0, Enter. And they are all aligned, but they have moved off the x-axis. You see the value has changed a little bit. It's not 0. So while we have all vertices selected, in X we type 0, press Enter, and they are all back in the center. That's it. I hope you did the right thing, you are doing well, and we have a repeat circuit. Right? Right. Now we're gonna build a grid. Let's go over here to the back of the axe and pull these points up to the corner. We'll put this vertex here, connect. Then we will have the same thing on the bottom. Two vertices like this, connect. Then we are going to connect these two vertices along the edge. And here we have two vertices connected. And here should form a triangle. So let's make this triangle. You can do it in transparency mode, or you can do it like this, if it is convenient for you. You will need to turn on the binding. Click on the magnet, open the menu and select Face Project. That is, we will bind to the surface, not to the vertices. And you can also select project individual elements. This will allow us to drag multiple points and they will all snap. Let me select this vertex, extrude, and look where I'm dragging it. It glued to the surface, parallel to this line I've drawn here. Now this vertex I bring here. E is here. Now to connect and create a polygon, I select this vertex. With Ctrl I select this vertex, and we have all 4 vertices selected along the shortest path. You can also select one with Shift second and press the F key. The F key make a polygon between 4 vertices. You can select 3 vertices like this, press F, and the polygon will be formed. Let's check if we have the polygon facing the right way. Yes, it is turned in the right direction, because if it was outside, we would see a red background here, and we have red from the middle. But it may happen that you create a polygon and it will be turned outside, so I will show you how to fix it later. And we are going to keep building. Let's make our triangle. Extrude here. I select with Ctrl this vertex, F, and we have a polygon field. Also, all this can be slightly trimmed to make it more beautiful. With the help of G, I move the tops with a binding. They are glued to the surface. Now here, this vertex, extrude here to the edge. Now connect here. That is, I selected this, with Ctrl select this, F, and we have polygon. Extrude here. With Ctrl selected like this, F, OK. We can take 2 verticals at once and extrude them like this. They are both tied to the surface. Now I'm going to take this extreme vertex, this one. We have 4 verticals, F, OK. Connect. And after the formation of triangle, you can trim everything, a little to make it nice and even. So now let's draw along the contour here. I take this vertex that lies in the corner, extrude, and here you need to do a little more, so that the contour is smoothly repeated. And connect to this vertex. I selected 2 verticals through Shift F, and they connected. Now here we try to draw parallel to these verticals here. That's how you can start from where it is convenient. E, extrude, 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 and now look, I select once, with Shift second, 3, 4 verticals, F. Now I select this vertex, with Ctrl this vertex, select the nearest chain, connect it. Once, Ctrl 2, connect. Once, Ctrl 2, connect. Here we got it like this. And then we select 2 peaks here and here. When you select with a frame, be careful not to select some verticals somewhere in the back, because it will be a problem later. Select 2 verticals here, with Shift 2 verticals here, F. Look, here we have polygons that are turned outward. Even in transparency mode, you can see that they are somehow dark. These polygons are dark and these are lighter. To fix them, I switch to polygons, or here with the icon or number 3, select these polygons and press Shift N, and they are aligned relative to these neighboring polygons. If these are outside, then these become outside. But it may be that you press Shift N and they still remained on the other side. Here appears the following menu and check inside, and they returns to the other side. Now let's try to bring the top here. Then extrude here and connect here. This extrude here, connect here. And this extrude here. And with Shift I selected the two vertices, F, connected them simply. At first simply, here we had a separation. We removed it, but I'll put it back. Ctrl R and split this edge in two parts. Now I can take these two verticals with Ctrl and make a polygon. Here we select this vertex, with Ctrl this one, we have three verticals selected and we make a triangular polygon. Triangular polygons are not so scary. You can leave them either in those places that are hidden, or do not be afraid because this object will not be deformed. It is a solid object and it does not deform in any way, so the triangles will not affect its appearance. I selected these four polygons, F, filled, OK. Now let's continue this smooth bevel here. Through E, I extrude the vertical like this. It is desirable to bring them almost to the edge where the rounding begins. First we will set them up correctly. Yes, and then we will pour. Select once, 2, 3, 4, F. 1 with Ctrl second, F. That's it. Now repeat our situation from above. Here we will also need to split. So let's split, Ctrl R, right here. We make the same number of verticals on the top as on the bottom. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. So one vertex will be here, second here, and another here. That's it. I take the vertex that in the corner, E here, E here, E extrude here, E here, E here. So we continue this triangle in order to have a smooth bevel. Here and try to immediately put it so that it is where the rounding begins. One with Ctrl 2, F. Now here, 1 with Ctrl 2, F. Here we make a triangle, F. And here we better continue this line. Yes, this is this is, and this. This leads to the center. This leads here. And this one goes here. Take these two verticals, extrude here. We see where the rounding begins. So now we connect 1, 2, 3, 4 verticals and choose an F. Extrude further this top here. Here they can be corrected a little later. And choose 1, 2, 3, 4, F. Now we connect the upper part and the lower parts. Let's start with these points. I choose 1, 2, 3, 4, F, and we have such a long polygon. Such long polygons are not always good, but in principle you can leave them. But in our case it will be divided here in the center. Perhaps it is possible not to divide, but let's do so. Here I put it together like this. Now here we have 5 points. Let's immediately split here, Ctrl R, point here, left, and then right button, release. And we have formed such landfills here. They are smaller in size, that is not so long. And now we can easily connect this top with this one. And connect the top like this. I press Shift N, and then in this menu I press inside, and it turns to the right side. Here we need to make a split, because the polygon wants to be square, but it somehow behaves incorrectly. So I take this vertex and press J. The J connects the verticals and split the polygon. Yes, and then we'll go down here. Here we go, this way, like this. Here I am extrude here. Also extrude here. Here we will have a triangle that is also turned in the other direction. I pressed Shift N and it was just right. And here. And here you will need to make a triangle. It's okay. This polygon is turned in the wrong direction. Shift N. To be able to distinguish between different parts, we can switch here in the menu to random, and then all the parts will be different colors. If you rename it, the color will change. Now they are similar in color, we need to rename them again. I write ax LP, it is still blue, and this one is almost blue. And write weaken ax, well, even if the color is a little different, it will help us. Ctrl Z to undo the last action because I pressed something wrong. See what I mean when I said it doesn't affect the silhouette? Look, if we turn the axe like this sideways, we won't see this pattern. That's why we just cover this pattern with the flat part, because if we look from the side, we won't see this pattern. If we look like this, we see only the outline of the axe itself. We don't see the pattern. That is. And whatever angle we would not look at it. The pattern does not affect the silhouette. The silhouette is influenced by these cutouts. The silhouette is influenced by this cutout, the sharpening, which is a little bit inward. All the shapes in principle affect the whole contour. not much influence this wooden pattern, so we will also make it by simply gluing it with a plane. So here we take the knife. We can take the tool here, or we can just press the K key. And we have a knife that we can cut through these lines. Cut through here to the middle, press enter. Now here we close with polygons. Maybe let's do this K, make another cut here. Take this vertex, GG, and move it. If we press GG twice, the vertex is moved along the lines to which it is connected. So we will move this vertex a little bit here to the level with this vertex, and this one to the level with this one, and then we will have a nice mesh. Select one, with Ctrl 2, we have selected 4 vertices, close with the F key. Here also 4 verticals are closed, and these 4 verticals are closed. That's it. Let's see if we have pentagonal polygons. I switch to polygons with the K3, or here, deselect, press select, select all by trait, faces by side, and here is the number of points. If we select 5 and see if we have pentagonal polygons, we will see that there are none. Also, when you select objects, here at the bottom right, you can see what you have selected. How many points, what size. If you don't have this statistic, click right button at the bottom and tick all the boxes here. Moving on. We have done retopology of the blade completely. We have the entire blade covered with polygons. Now the upper part, and let's move on to the handle. I go to the tops and try to raise this top to the level with this one. And in general we wanted to connect them like this. From here we connect here, like this. I paint for myself to make it easier and more convenient. Alt middle mouse button, I center it on the place I need. So we have a peak here, yes. What did I just do? I removed an extra edge, so that a quad was formed. You could leave it, but in principle you can remove it. How did I remove it? Look, first I connect with J, then I switched to the edges, or with the number 2, select the edge, Ctrl X. The edge disappears, but the polygon remains. And now we have 3 4-corner polygons here on the top. Now look at this trick. We can connect this vertex with this one using F. Then using Ctrl R, we try to divide and add the number of divisions with the wheel. This number of divisions should coincide with the number of points that we have outlined here. If some vertex is unnecessary, we can delete it later. For example, here, then here, 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 and here. This one is standing still. You can move it a little bit, and with the help of G, we substitute them so that they are on the surface, because maybe they were not on the surface but somewhere inside. But after moving they become on the surface with the help of binding. And we will delete this unnecessary vertex by Ctrl X. Now what we can do? We can take these verticals with Ctrl, then with Shift I take this vertex. With Ctrl I select this vertex, right click and connect with. So here is no this menu. Let's try here, edge, bridge edge loops, and we have them connected like this. But we still need to divide them like this. So I press Ctrl R and two divisions with the wheel and divide. Now these vertices are hidden inside because they are connected directly. To put them on the surface, we just start moving them with G. Press G, move a little bit, and they become on the surface. But they are turned to the other side. Select them, Shift N, and they are aligned to this side. Then here we connect in the usual way by selecting points. For vertices selected, F, OK. Here with Ctrl I select, with Ctrl, and these four verticals are closed. Here we can do the same, select these vertices, then with Shift this one, and with Ctrl this one. Edge, bridge edge loops, they are connected, but you can see that they are not directly connected. Now we divide, Ctrl R, will add two divisions. Right click, I deselect, and then G, and they are glued to the surface like this. Then you can trim it a little to make a grid more beautiful and even. We can immediately make the same outline on the bottom part. We will have one line here in the center, then two here and two here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it like this. Two, three, four, five. Yes, I'll connect it to this one, F. Also, they will need to be moved closer to the other side, like on the leather weave. Because we will have another row on the bottom. like this. That is, here we form a smooth transition between this and this vertex. Now we have it all turned to the other side. If we switch to polygons, then by holding Alt and clicking on the edge that goes along the line, we can select the entire line. Then I press Shift N and it turns the polygons out. Yes, here we have two peaks. We will figure out how to make them. This extrude here, almost to the very edge, and extrude right on the other side, like this. Then we can divide here as many divisions as we want. There we had 5, but it may be better to make a smooth transition and make more polygons. A line in the other direction, and we'll start laying. Here to close the grid very nicely probably have to do a few more divisions. For example, here we will do 1. So we can select this circle. Using Ctrl, I select all the verticals and fill one large polygon. Yes, it turned out to be an n-gon with 9 verticals. But we can press Ctrl T and then Alt J. And we have some faces triangulated and some created as quads. But we can do it a little bit different. I'll select the polygon by switching to polygon. I've selected it. I'll press X and I'll select only faces. That is, we still have verticals and only the polygons has disappeared. I will also delete this vertex with Ctrl X and divide it into 2 parts, because before we had 9 points and we need an even number. We can also divide it into 2 parts, like this. That is, if we select these verticals, we will have 12 points. Now we can do face grid fill. If we have an even number of points, we will get a nice grid automatically. Then adjust it a little bit to have equal distance between the vertices, and that's it. We can do the same on this side. If we have here, we will see how many points we have here. We have 11 of them here, so we will need to add either 3 vertices or 1. Let me probably add 1 vertex. With Alt, I select these 2 edges, and with Shift Alt, I select this. Try Face Grid Fill. Yes, well, it's a bit crooked here, but there is a menu that you can open and try to twist some parameters here. Maybe it will look better. Well, let's say I don't really like it, so I'll cancel it, and instead of this vertex, we'll add 2 more vertices. Let's do it like this. Ctrl R, we will divide here. Ctrl R will divide here. Now with Alt I select this edge, and Shift Alt add this to the selection, Face Grid Fill. Oh, it looks more or less better. It just needs to be corrected to look more even like this. Yeah, maybe you know how. Here we go. J. And here we connect. J. Now switching to edges, I take this edge, Ctrl X. No, vice versa. This edge, Ctrl X, and here Ctrl X. And this is connected to this, and remove this edge. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, let's try to make a slightly different mesh here. Let's do this. I'll connect it like this, and I'll remove this edge. It seems more beautiful to me. Here we still have a triangle. We can try to connect these 2 vertices here. Delete these 2 edges, Ctrl X. And this is the edge that is. And we have a quad. No, it's not a quad. Why it is not a quad? It says 5 vertices. And here is 1 vertex that remains. Ctrl X, I delete it. Yes, now exactly quad. Here are 4 vertices. Here, 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 and here, and here, and here, and here. Now just align it so that there is an even grid. Well, about as flat as it can be. You can do GG. If you just do a simple G move, it's going to move off center. It's already off center, so I put a 0 in here. And this little be moved. You see a little bit we have they are out of control. I'm going to select all these vertices, press Scale, X, 0, Enter. And I'm going to write 0 here. -0. Then I'll write 0 again. That's it. Now they are exactly in the center. Continue. Well, we have finished making retopology, and then proceed to the UV mapping.